The first one being, if it's so tiny, then how is there going to be enough space for all the things I want to keep? And I'm not saying this with respect to Tempe. I'm just talking about in general tiny homes, right? If it's going to be so tiny, how will I have space for all the things I need?
So of course, like if you compare it to a normal size house, you are going to have limited space for storage, and you might have to shut down on a few things of your which you don't really value. So you will have storage. It's all built in initially, and it's also dependent on how you design your own tiny house. Because I mean, we're just taking a 20 by 8 container, but you could obviously just make it into a 40 feet, and you will have another 20 feet of space there. So it all depends on this,
Yeah.
much how much stuff you have in the end. And I think if you're going the tiny house way, then you're reducing the amount of things that you carry. So I think everything.
Yeah.
So I don't think that should be an issue.
Yeah, I absolutely second that. I think if that's a question that comes to your head, then you need to reevaluate the things you have.
Yeah.
Again, the bigger question is what are the things you want and what are the things you need, right? And I'm sure you'll be able to declutter and come down to the bare necessary and bare minimum things that you
Yeah.
need, and then you definitely find that that fits into your tiny home.
Via dialogues with sustainability. I can see that people are just trickling in, and while you're trickling in, let me just introduce Dialogues with Sustainability and myself to you guys. Dialogues with Sustainability is a community by Dialogue Space where we believe that we want to have conversations around sustainability. By sustainability, we mean practices, different products, different ventures that are towards the promoting sustainability, including individuals who are doing great work to foster that community and to see how we can kind of enhance that a little bit. I'm Shruti and I'm part of the Dialogues family. This interview today is also a collab between our two communities, which is Dialogues with Sustainability and Dialogues That Matter. Dialogues That Matter is an interview series where we speak to change makers who are doing stellar work in their own field, which is something that I co-curate. Today we have someone really interesting and a topic that is really close to our heart, which is basically tiny homes. Those of you who've heard tiny homes, please give us a wave and shout out so we know what it is. So I know how many people who have joined us know what tiny homes are. As for the rest of you, I think we'd love to know if you know what tiny homes are. Even if you don't, I'm going to introduce them. Tiny homes is basically a concept that allows you to move away from things like materialistic living to more experiential and a little more sustainable living. And to that effect, we have today with us Tenpi, which is basically a tiny home, and the founder, Arsh Bansal, who's going to be joining us today. Without further ado, let me allow Arsh to join this.
About Arsh. Arsh is basically an architect by profession, and he has done sustainable architecture from Cardiff in Wales. And that's Arsh. Thank you so much for joining us today, Arsh.
How's it going, guys?
Going good, I think. We have people who are trickling in little by little, and I was just introducing everybody to the concept of tiny homes and what a tiny home is, why is it important, and those are things we will try and cover during the live in today's session. Guys, at any point, if you have any questions, do tell us that you have any questions. Those of you who have heard of what tiny homes are, give us a wave, give us a shout out. Any questions that you wanted to ask Tenpi or what tiny homes are or things you wanted to ask us, you can ask right away. I'm going to jump right to it and ask, what is a tiny home? For those of us who don't know, what is a tiny home? If you could break that down to us, to as simple as you can.
Okay, so as the name suggests, tiny homes are literally tiny homes which are like around 400 square feet or less, and they can be
Right.
they can be porta cabins, they can be geodesic domes which are assembled on site, or container homes as well. So right now, for example, Tenpi is basically having container homes as places to live in, which you can rent out for the night. And so we basically build it on site in the yard, and we take it to the location wherever we're going to be setting up. And Basically, they can be built faster because there's no cement or concrete involved. So everything is very smooth in terms of movement and everything. And yeah, so that's what tiny home is, and it's a very unmaterialistic way of living. You focus on more decluttered lifestyle, something that Marie Kondo teaches as well. And yeah, so anything basically from, you're shutting down your stuff to just making it very minimal, and everything you'd want to be growing vegetables and everything around you. So everything focuses on just doing very DIY, essentially. That's what it is.
Right, right. I think that makes a lot of sense. We already have a lot of questions pouring in. Guys, hold your horses. And I think we have a lot of queries on when you can use the tiny house, what kind of occasions you can use it for. We'll get to that and how we can address that as well. Before that, Arsh, if you want to talk to us a little about how this idea began and how perhaps your training as as an architect with keeping in mind the environment and the surrounding kind of aided this whole process and kind of developing Tenpy.
Yeah, sure. So I'll tell you my whole life story then, because that goes hand in hand. I grew up in Mussoorie boarding school, and always been part of nature, around trees, conifers, and the winters, and it was amazing. So the idea was to get back to basics within nature, and I thought architecture as a means of doing it, because I mean, I have always been fascinated with tiny homes and tiny living and a decluttered lifestyle. So I thought, why not have something that people actually want? And it's pretty trendy as well, and people are focusing on Instagrammable things. And why not use it as a passion and convert it into a business? And that's where the tiny living concept came about in my head. And then I went to the study environmental design, and that also basically acted as a stepping stone towards building something that's very unique, niche, and very sustainable. So environmental design basically focuses on finding comfort, creating comfortable spaces, and using climatic conditions to do that. So in our tiny houses, we try to focus on less mechanical cooling and heating, and it's mostly natural, very sustainable. So lots of cross ventilation, lots of shades and louvers around the place, and using the outdoor as well. So using the big canopy trees to push and guide the wind in the right direction, and things like that. So the idea was to focus on reducing the footprint as well in terms of hospitality, because in hospitality you end up building large hotels and it's not very sustainable. Even though people are shifting to green architecture, in the end, building something small and unique, I think, has more value than a 400-room hotel. So yeah, that's what the aim was, to create something that could be sustainable, a sustainable solution in the end. And I think the course I took up at Cardiff actually promoted that in the right way. And I'm very glad to see where Tenpy is at right now. So hopefully it continues.
Right. Which begs the question. I mean, you brought up the whole point of the environment and the natural climatic conditions. So is that why you specifically chose Bangalore for the first tiny home, the Tenpy?
Bangalore and Karnataka, and generally South India itself, has a better climate to be setting up container homes, because that's what we initially started with. Because containers do heat up, and we have to provide insulation in them. So it's good to see, like, it's a better place to be, because the amount of rains that happen, and also the wind and the summer months are less. So it's better to have based in nature here. And there's a lot of untouched property around Bangalore and in Karnataka itself. And I mean, 70% is privately owned, so why not utilize that to our best?
Yeah. And when you talk about tiny homes, I think one of the things that you mentioned is plug and play, right? Could you explain that concept to us and kind of throw some light on that?
Yes. So plug and play essentially means that you're able to take an entire tiny home, or take an entire tiny home and put it in the location and basically just start using it. The only difference is that you have to just install the plumbing and the electricals. as compared to a normal construction where you're actually getting labor on site to build it from scratch, to build using bricks and mortar, columns, pillars. So it's very difficult. It's more time consuming, and you're also watering everything. You're watering the walls, you're watering the foundation to cure it.
Right.
So with this, everything you're building in the yard, and you're basically shifting it. And I think that's where you save up time, and also it's a plug and play concept where you just get a crane, you plonk it down on the land, and you can move it wherever you want in the end.
Right. I think then the natural question that arises is in a country like ours, where space is a constraint, resources is a constraint. How do you see the idea of tiny homes fit into the picture for a country like ours?
While I was doing my research, actually, in terms of hospitality and tiny homes in India, we are actually, since we are very aspirational, we are a developing country, our need to shift to bigger houses is already there. But there is a portion of people who are actually moving towards more sustainable living and tiny living because of affordability and people getting burnt out in the city, and they want some place to just be. And with the natural and organic push of COVID and work from home, people have moved to farms where they have smaller houses. They're growing their own vegetables and fruits, and they're surviving off that. And I mean, internet is available everywhere. So that's become easier. And the average size of an apartment is actually coming down in India. If you see from 2014 to 2020, from around 850 to 850 square feet to around 600. So push towards smaller living is there. Plus the affordability angle of it comes into play then. Because I mean, even the PM is promoting affordable housing because of the costing and everything that's available to the people right now. And millennials, especially millennials, I'll like to reiterate that again, are pushing the whole tiny living and the concept of sustainable living in the right direction. I think that's where we're supposed to be. So yeah, I think it's still a big question in terms of Indian standards, but I think tiny living has some scope in India.
Right. So a lot of people trickling in, a lot of people shouting out, giving us a wave. Shikha, Sid, I think we had a question, and Samyukta is very adamant that we answer her question. She asked if you can use the space during the day for a birthday party. Would you like to quickly answer that, Arsh?
So we don't really do day trips. We like to push for the night stay because that's where the experience is. Staying in like a property with not much around, even though it is perfectly safe, just so you know. But that's where the experience is. Just you might even just hear an elephant walking by. You never know. So we don't do day trips.
Right. I hope that answers your question. We also have a lot of people coming in. Please keep the love pouring in. If you have any questions, please keep throwing them at us. Arsh, I want to get to one of the main things that is, I think, one of the focus that you also have when you talk about 10P is that I think when you see 10P, you cannot see it without the nature, and in fact, nature is at the core of it, right? Why was that really important for you, and would you like to elaborate a little on that?
So nature automatically has like a healing property towards the stress hormones, and that's what we were trying to get at. That's why our cabins don't have Wi-Fi. They promote digital detox and personal wellness, and the cabin essentially becomes like a hardware to escape into nature and get back to basics. What we're trying to do. So mental health also becomes an interesting aspect to that, because if you're in nature and you're spending at least 2 to 3 days there, you're able to forget and move on from what you have. And I think the slowness of what we are doing and what we are offering, or what other homestays and camping offers in India, is basically to do that, right? Get back to basics, slow down a bit, in this fast-paced world. I think that's what we're aiming to essentially do. We're to find that work-life balance. And especially with COVID and work from home, the lines have become blurred between that work and life, and we're not able to distinguish what is what. And that's where I think you have to just get some time out of your busy lives and just say, okay, I need to get away just to focus on myself and do nothing. Because it's fine to daydream. I mean, teachers tell us to not daydream in class, but we're trying to do the opposite thing. Say, why don't you daydream for a while?
Right.
Yeah.
Right. I think what is also coming through from when we're talking to you is that sustainability as a concept is not limited to one particular thing. I think it is intertwined and interdisciplinary in the sense that it's a way of life, right? So it doesn't start or stop at one thing. And why is that something? What are your thoughts on that? And why do you also align with that thought? And how perhaps that is something that comes through in Tempe as well, if you would like to talk about that.
Yeah, so we do try to promote sustainability in multiple ways. So firstly, with Tempe specifically, we are upcycling containers, which are basically lying around docks and are not being,
Right.
because so a container basically weighs around, a 20-foot container weighs around 1.8 to 2.2 tons. And
Right.
it's just lying around, and instead of melting it or just letting get rid of it, we're trying to upcycle it and convert it into something. And that's where sustainability is. I think the energy involved to actually just melt it off is way more than to
Right.
cycle it and use it for a tiny home where people can actually experience something. We're actually trying to shift towards something more economical, using straw and bamboo as materials, because we see a lot of scope there where we can build with these boards that are already made out of straw, which is agricultural stubble, and create something new and unique at the same time.
Right.
And
I think a lot of exciting questions coming in as well. Sorry, go ahead. Go ahead.
no, so as you said, like sustainability is like it's a lifestyle, right? And everything is so interlinked that you can't really narrow it down to one specific genre or sector. So
Correct.
like a small example, even if we take, say, a trip for a customer from their home to a tiny house at one of our campsites, and then their return trip. Just imagine if you had a car, an EV car, your entire trip would sort of be sustainable because you're staying in a container home, you're driving there in a EV, and you're coming back, and you're sourcing your own materials because the caretakers cooking their own food, they're grinding their own masalas and stuff. So everything becomes very sustainable, and I think in the end, that's what the aim should be.
Yeah. I think exactly that's also something we strongly believe in as well. We have a couple of questions. Let's take a couple of questions. I think Comic Pause asked, do you plan to expand to other states?
Yeah, that's definitely in the works. Hopefully Maharashtra and Telangana, that's the aim for now. We're located around major cities, around 100 to 150 kilometers away, so that people can get away more easily rather than spend 6 hours to 8 hours getting there.
Right. So it says Tempe is the next upcoming boom in India. Sandhya asked, do you have a proper security at the night time?
Yes.
Sandhya seems to be really, yeah.
So we do have a caretaker who lives around 5 minutes away from the place, and it's inside a gated property, so there's no issues as such. And you'll be lucky to see wildlife. So. Hello?
Yes.
Yeah, sorry,
am I audible? Yes.
Yeah,
so now no live is incomplete without an internet glitch, so we are good to go now. So I was asking, I think Create Rashi was asking that do you think that this is something that you look at as an option for housing as well, which is something I think you briefly touched upon, not just as a vacation home, but also as affordable housing perhaps.
Yeah, what I initially thought of was to bring the idea firstly educate the people by doing short-term rentals with tiny homes, and then hopefully that would grow the community, and also that would lead to people actually buying and setting up tiny homes rather than big houses on their land. Yes, definitely. I think
Right.
it is a possibility. It is customizable, and if you're okay living in a container or even something that's made out of just boards, I mean, it's a good option to have.
Yeah, yeah. And a lot of people who are eyeing on Tempe, I think somebody from Lucknow says we want one in Lucknow. Somebody from Chennai says they want one in Chennai. And a lot of others. Somebody said that they had a great time at Tempe. I'd like to go to something that we strongly keep asking and probing people to answer as part of this community, which is Dialogues with Sustainability. What is sustainable to you? Sustainability to you, Arsh?
Sustainability to me is basically from every aspect of life that we deal in, getting, it could be like a basic thing, you know, like just doing composting in your own house. I mean, back home where I'm from, we actually do composting and we take it to our spare piece of land that we have, and we do our organic farming there, and we use that to our own, for our own cooking. And I think that's where it all starts. If you're able to impact these small things in your life, I think you're in the right paths, and that's where we should be heading towards. I mean, if you're able to make a change for your next generation, won't that be amazing? That's what we all aim to do in the end.
Yeah.
So.
Definitely. I think here to that, and more power to that thought. I just want to, add on and ask, what is one thing that you think you have been able to adapt over the years, apart from Tempe, of course, that's a large project and that is in line with sustainability, something that you do or have found other people doing that you think is a great way to stay sustainable? Apart from the ones, of course, you mentioned composting and things like that, but something else that you would like to perhaps mention?
In terms of design, because I'm speaking from an architecture point of view,
Right.
you have to experiment with materials, because that's where the whole system changes. Because concrete and cement actually produce like the highest number of highest percentage of carbon emissions, and that's where we can experiment. That's why we're using containers, and that's where you use strand boards or straw boards for designing, rather than using your normal columns and walls. Because for walls also you need a lot of water curing, and that's not very sustainable. That's like not sustainable at all. So I think where we can look to explore multiple ideas and see where it goes.
Yeah, I think that sounds right as well, right? I mean, the things we make and the things we build are essentially things that we want them to sustain for a long duration, and we also want to make sure that they do not, in the process of being made, cause a lot of harm. And I think that's where sustainable design kind of comes into play. With that, I want to quickly, indulge in this and ask you, can you give us an elevator pitch for Tempe Homes? For those of us who have joined in and who don't know what it is, and if you were to convince us to say that, we need to come to Tempe today, what would be that elevator pitch for us to, drop by Tempe today?
So I'm guessing that each and one of you is actually burnt out in your life, and they want to be experiencing some sort of slowness and getting back to basics. So Tempe is like the best option, because you have everything in a container. You have your toilet, you have your kitchen, and you have a bed, a lavish bed. So, and you have a 25-acre property just for yourself for one night. So I don't think I can say anything more than that. I think that's enough to convince a person to actually stay. Don't you think?
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. If not, then I have a bunch of questions that I want to kind of help to bust the myth that surrounds tiny homes.
Sure.
The first one being, if it's so tiny, then how is there going to be enough space for all the things I want to keep? And I'm not saying this with respect to Tempe. I'm just talking about in general tiny homes, right? If it's going to be so tiny, how will I have space for all the things I need?
So of course, like if you compare it to a normal size house, you are going to have limited space for storage, and you might have to shut down on a few things of your which you don't really value. So you will have storage. It's all built in initially, and it's also dependent on how you design your own tiny house. Because I mean, we're just taking a 20 by 8 container, but you could obviously just make it into a 40 feet, and you will have another 20 feet of space there. So it all depends on much how much stuff you have in the end. And I think if you're going the tiny house way, then you're reducing the amount of things that you carry. So I think everything. So I don't think that should be an issue.
Yeah, I absolutely second that. I think if that's a question that comes to your head, then you need to reevaluate the things you have. Again, the bigger question is what are the things you want and what are the things you need, right? And I'm sure you'll be able to declutter and come down to the bare necessary and bare minimum things that you need, and then you'll definitely find that fits into your tiny home. The second thing is that I have a pet. I have a lot of guests who visit my home. Will a tiny home suffice?
Sure. Interesting. So yes, I mean, you could use the outdoors actually for the living, for the outdoor living. So, you know, have a bonfire, have like seats around it, add your own deck chairs, you have a canopy, and dogs love, I mean, they want to be in the outdoors. So I think this fits in perfectly. I don't think you need anything else.
Right.
I mean, you might, I mean, if
Absolutely.
you're not fond of like dogs on your bed, then you might face an issue, but otherwise I think it should be okay.
Yeah, absolutely. Last but definitely not the least, and this was a legit thing I found on the internet, by the way. I want to live a grand and luxurious life. I don't want to live in a tiny home and have that as my lifestyle. What would you say to someone like that?
I think you just chose the wrong option. That's all.
Yeah. I think it's a matter of lifestyle, right? I mean, it's a matter of your perspective.
Still live luxurious in terms of lifestyle, even in a tiny house. So it totally depends. I mean, it's more about the experience. You're giving up your materialistic life for a more experiential stay, which I think is much more better. But in the end, it's very subjective and depends on what you want in the end. So.
Right. In fact, I think just adding on to what Ash said, it is called a tiny home, but you do end up living a larger life. Like he said, you move away from materialistic things to more experiential and a little more sustainable living, and you start to look at life a little more differently. So I'm sure, a day or a night visit to Tempe will give you an insight into that experience. In fact, like Ash mentioned, I wanted him to show us the space, but he told that there's no Wi-Fi there, so we wouldn't be able to see the tiny home. But we have some pictures that we've put up with the posts and things like that. So you guys can go and check it out. Last but definitely not the least, Ash, how do people get in touch with you if you want to make any contact? Question which I'm not going to address, but how do we contact you?
You can actually just reach out to me on Instagram, on our Tempe page. You can direct message us, or you can call us as well. Or we have a website, www.tempe.co, and you can fill out a form there. Even if you're a host and you want to set up these tiny homes, on that, we'd love to help you out and generate extra revenue for you. And whatever, I mean, over the website, over on Instagram, on Facebook, I think we're available everywhere. So just let us know however we can help you. And we'd love to help you design a tiny home as well if you want, if you have land.
Definitely. In fact, I'm eyeing a night or two at Tempe for friends of mine, and I want to visit myself. So definitely, I think we should all go and drop by. Ash, I'm going to sign off on this question. And meanwhile, guys, if you have any questions, please do drop them. It's been a difficult year, right? So we've had a tough time. It's been an unprecedented year. What's the one thing that you've learned from the last year that you're grateful for? And what is the one thing that you kind of saw or that you heard that kind of helped you feel reassured that, what you're doing is sustainable and in line with what the world is doing in general?
So I think what really stood out during the pandemic and COVID was that, we basically got through it together. I think that was pretty amazing. it was the first time I was
Yeah.
staying with my family for so long in one space without any of us going out. And I think that's what even tiny living sort of pushes. You're living with your close ones, you're traveling together, you're moving around together, you're cooking your own food together. I think that's what is amazing. And that's where we
Absolutely.
as well at the same time. And one thing that I've really noticed, even with my guests at the tiny house, is that we want to push people, taking their garbage back, and we don't want to be leaving any footprint around where we are, and which is very interesting to see, actually, because I never thought that people would actually take the trash back. I'm very glad it happened. I mean, the landowner also informed me to promote that. And I'm very glad that all my guests are actually doing that. And I mean, that is something that I really wish continues. And because I think garbage disposal is a big issue that we have in India right now. And if we're able to solve for it, we would be doing wonders to the country and to the world as well. So I think hopefully that continues.
Absolutely. I think that sounds great. Again, we have a bunch of people who, again, someone asked, when is Tempe coming to the US? I love this question.
Hello?
Yes.
Yeah, sorry. I think the internet connection.
No problem. Somebody asked about Tempe coming to the US.
Yeah, I think that's going to take a while, but we'll stay optimistic.
Sure. I think tiny homes is a concept that's pretty huge out in the West. So Sid, if that's something that interests you, you can check out tiny homes, tiny living. I'm sure you'll find a bunch of results out in the West and definitely in the US. All right, I think that brings us to the end of this session. Thank you so much for your time, Arsh, and the rest of you for joining in with your lovely questions. Any closing thoughts, Arsh? Anything you'd like to talk to us about, to our community of sustainable enthusiasts?
Not really, but I just hope that people, move towards a more less materialistic lifestyle and focus on experiences and going minimal, because I think that's what the world needs right now. And pushing organic and sustainable material and products, I think that's the way to be moving. So hopefully people do that, and I think we'll be in safe hands.
Absolutely. I think there's no better way to end this session than those last few words. So thank you once again, guys. We will continue doing a lot of these live sessions. If you know people you'd like to hear, topics that you'd like to talk about with respect to sustainability, please drop them on our DM. And do check out Tempe on Instagram and their website. And I'm definitely going to pay a visit when I'm in Bangalore. Thank you so much, guys. Have a great midweek and the rest of the week ahead. And I will see you guys. Stay safe.
Thank you, guys.
Bye.